Hey, what's going on, DFSArmy? It's Craig Bennett, aka Cash Cake here. Gonna do a super draft video. If you notice, the prize pools have been up over the last few weeks. There's been overlay, and if you're gonna pick one site that you can play, it should be Super Draft. Just anytime there's overlay, you better attack it. And so I thought I'd go over some of my favorite plays that we have. We have projections over here at DFSArmy, so if you want to get those projections, head on over and use promo code CashKeg, sign up, save 10%. And we have a Slack room as well that we go in there and talk plays throughout the day. So let's just jump right into this and talk about some of the favorite Super Draft plays today. Again, if you don't have a Super Draft account, down in the description below, you can go down there and click, the link to sign up and use promo code ARMY. Get you in there and get you signed up, man. I said it's a fun site to play. It's all about the multiplier, so you're not worried about, you can play all the studs if you want to. You're not worried about trying to fit a salary cap in, so it's a little bit easier. Again, all you're thinking about is the multiplier here. I'm going to go through some plays that I like tonight. A few stand out, and we'll just kind of build a sample lineup, and I'll just kind of talk through some things that I think are ways to go on this 6-game slate tonight. So again, if you like these videos, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let me know other videos that you want me to do. I'm going to drop a few more here out today. Again, I appreciate your patience. I've been out the last 4 days kind of dealing with a little bit of sickness, but I'm glad to be back. The voice is back intact, and we can start knocking out these videos. But let's first jump. We'll start at the center position today. I think there's two obvious choices that you're choosing, and that's about it. And I think it's kind of I think they kind of made a mistake here with Jokic being a 1.2x multiplier. He's going up against Washington. It's one of the higher implied team totals on the slate. I love him in the salary formatted fantasy sites as well. So getting a 1.2x multiplier on on Jokic, he could put up 60 fantasy points without the multiplier, and just absolutely smash. So I would like him even if he was just a 1x multiplier. So get 1.2x. Absolutely love him at the center position here, and I would build around him if you're playing cash games or something else. The other guy we're going to like, again, is Vooch at 1.1x multiplier. Again, going up against Brooklyn, bigs against Brooklyn is a thing. No Aaron Gordon around. Gets more rebounds, a few more shot attempts. It's basically him and Fournier and Terrence Ross that are taking on the scoring for this team. So no problem playing Vooch. Brooklyn doesn't play any defense. So it's one of these two guys that you're playing. Valanciunas at 1.45x is kind of interesting against the Clippers. They're not very good on the front court. They're much better defending the wings and the guards with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. But I still think Jokic and Vooch are the guys you're going to build around. I don't really have a whole lot of love for these other guys here. DeAndre Jordan at a 1.7x. If Jeff Green is out, maybe you can consider him because he'll have to play some more minutes. And if he can get you, 30, 35 fantasy points, then you'll love him. But I just see there's so much opportunity cost with a 1.2x on Jokic. It's really hard for me to get away from that. So that's the kind of guy I would look at. Let's head on over to the forward spot here. Again, you play 3 guards, 3 forwards over here on Super Draft. And as we just kind of look at where we want to go with things at the forward position, we get Giannis at the 1x multiplier here. I don't mind it, but at the same time, I don't absolutely love it. But, he could put up 65 fantasy points, no problem. And he could be the highest scoring forward, even with the 1x multiplier. So he's kind of a guy we got to look at here. Paul George at 1.25x is pretty interesting going up against Memphis. It's a pretty decent multiplier on him. Same thing with Julius Randle going up against Sacramento. I think these are two guys that I would kind of consider to look at. One other guy we could look at here, I mentioned with Vucevic and going up against Brooklyn, how they give up so many points. We come down here to 1.6x and look at Evan Fournier. Again, he's shooting guard and small forward eligible, so you can fit him in any of these 6 spots. And that 1.6x, if he gets you 40 to 43 fantasy points, he's going to smash. And he's put up decent fantasy points. 2 of his last 3 he's put up 45 and 48. And if he put up a 45 burger at 1.6x, he is going to be in the optimal lineup. So he's kind of a guy I would look at this multiplier. You get Michael Porter Jr. as well at 1.6x. I kind of feel like I would rather go Evan Fournier here. I just feel like there's more upside with him going up against Brooklyn. They're going to need the scoring. Michael Porter Jr. is okay, but I do worry a little bit that we're going to not get there. If we have Jokic have a big game. So I'd rather have Fournier there, especially if I'm not going to put Vooch in the center spot. They're going to have to score some points, and I think we can lean on him a little bit. Bagley's interesting on the white side, again, going up against New York, 1.6x. I kind of like that a little bit. Again, going back to 1.25x, Julius Randle, no problem going him. I worry a little bit about the Pelicans forwards here, and Ingram and Zion. I like Zion's 1.35x going up against Milwaukee. He did have a decent game against them earlier this year. We put up over 40 fantasy points. But at the same time, get you around 57, 58 if he's around 40. But I do worry on a back-to-back. Milwaukee's favored by almost 10 points. So they could struggle a little bit here, and that would worry me a little bit not to have Zion smash there. So I do worry a little bit about that. Don't want to jump on that too much. Middleton, 1.4x, kind of been all over the map. I think you can play him, but just been all over the place here. Like I said, Rashawn Holmes, again, I like playing him against the Knicks here with Noel having center. No Whiteside, the minutes should be there. I don't mind sliding him in here as well at 1.5x as well. So again, no problem playing Giannis at 1.1x value here. I don't really tend to love just to play the guys with no multipliers, but Giannis is one of those guys that can put up 65 to 70 fantasy points and be in the optimal with no multiplier. One of the few guys that can do that. But so I don't mind throwing him in there as even a floor. But yeah, some of these guys, Fournier though, 1.6x is just really nice high. And again, we're looking at this 1.25x area. I kind of lean Randall over Paul George just because Kawhi can kind of take over there. And with going up against Sacramento, Randall should be able to do whatever he wants against Bagley and crew. So I kind of like him. I think we're going to slide him in this lineup. At the guard position here, now there is some value at the guard position. I went through this in the NBA First Look video. If you want to check that out on my page here, I will link it up in the video at the end of this as well. We're going to have some Knicks value here at the guard position. If we come down here and look at Derrick Rose at 1.7x value, I do like this 1.7x. He can put up 40 fantasy points here. He should play over 30 minutes going up against Fox and Hield. I'm not worried about this at all. There's big upside at this 1.7x multiplier. No problem going him if you're looking at a higher multiplier here. Same thing with Quickly, 1.75x. One of these guys could put up a 40 burger. And if you get a guy at 40 fantasy points at 1.7x, he's going to be in the optimal. So we're looking for that, around 60 to 65 fantasy points. And again, we could see that in Derrick Rose here. I'm going to slide him in this lineup just as a higher multiplier guy that I'm looking at. Thing of Harris as well, 1.7x. I just would rather go Rose or Quickly. I just like the guards here a little bit more. And then, coming back up here, Ball, I don't mind going up against Milwaukee at 1.55x. I don't mind that. Morant, 1.5x going against the Clippers. I do worry about the defense a little bit. I don't think I'm going to go there. 1.3x for Fox is nice against the Knicks. I don't mind looking at that. But Westbrook is the guy if you're looking at this 1.3x multiplier. Been playing great. Has 2 triple-doubles out of his last 4 games. And he missed actually triple-doubles in his last 2 by a rebound and assist. So if we're going to look at a guy to kind of jump on in this 1.3x multiplier, he is one of my favorite guys to look at here. So we'll throw him in this lineup as well. Again, Kyrie Irving, 1.25x. I prefer Westbrook, though, at 1.3x. Again, Durant is out, so it should be a lot of Harden and Irving. Irving's going to be the scorer. But the thing with Harden is, he does a little bit of everything. He gets all the assists, and he's a triple-double threat every time, where Irving's just more of the scorer. Don't mind him, but I would still prefer Westbrook if choosing the two. Jamal Murray, 1.3x, has been a guy that's been putting up some big games lately. 52, 46, monster 69 spot here. Going up against Washington, I think he's in a great spot. I don't mind bouncing them back and forth. So if we want to get rid of Rose and we want to have Jamal Murray and Westbrook, I don't mind that. Both guys could put up 60, and you get them at 1.3x, you're going to have a monster score on your hands. So definitely guys that I would definitely consider at the point guard position if you're not going to go down there to the New York value at 1.7x, because you guys, you're still looking for a decent, 30 plus points there to get there. So they're not must plays. I think Westbrook and Murray have way more upside at this 1.3x because they can put up 60 real points, and it wouldn't shock me one bit. Bradley Beal at 1.26x multiplier. I still prefer to go Westbrook here and still prefer Murray. But if Westbrook is struggling a little bit, maybe Beal can carry this team. Denver's not a great defensive team, and I have no problem playing them. And then, James Harden at 1.05x multiplier. I just would rather go Westbrook, just getting that extra bonus. No problem playing Harden. Harden could easily drop 60, 65 fantasy points and be right there in the optimal. So definitely in play. But if I had to rank these guys, it would be Westbrook, Murray for upside, then maybe look at a Harden, Irving, and Beal if I had to rank these guys here. Again, Fox is in plays well at 1.3x, but I just have a hard time seeing him getting a higher fantasy point output than a Westbrook and a Murray. So this is where I'd kind of look at things in Super Draft. Again, it's a real fun site. If you want to sign up, use the link in the description below. And again, we got guys in the chat that are dropping plays, talking plays. Got any questions, you can head on over to DFSArmy and ask me, and I'll be more than happy to help you build some Super Draft lineups as well. And again, as we get news, and as that drops, that is something that we have to check out as well, because we could get some value plays open up where a higher multiplier and guys can hit that mark and be in there. So, but this is kind of how I look at it. I would anchor your lineups with Jokic or Vooch. Up there in the guard position, Westbrook is my top guy here, followed by Murray. Again, I just love that game environment. And then the forward position, I love that we can play Fournier both at a guard and a forward. 1.6x, there's just a lot of meat left on the bone there. And then again, I don't mind Giannis or Randall. There's a lot of ways to go in this forward position. But yeah, look for this 1.2 to 1.4x is where I kind of like to lean towards. But there's times where we get some value, like we can look at a Derrick Rose who can put up 40 at that 1.7x. That could very much be in the optimal that you have to consider. So consider some of those guys in value. So again, nice little quick hitter video for some Super Draft plays. Again, we have projections over at DFSArmy. If you want to sign up for DFSArmy, again, link below, or just head on over there to DFSArmy.com. Use promo code CashGig. Save yourself 10%. Get those projections, and let's win some money. Again, look for that overlay. If there is overlay, you need to be in it. If you're not in it, you can't win it. With that, CashGig. See you on the flip side. Deuce.